What does it mean when someone says endgame sound? Well, today I'm going to tell you because at least when it comes to a portable hi-fi setup, I think I found it. Look, we've done a lot of reviews on Cayin DAPs here lately, and for good reasons. They sound un-freakin-believable. The N7 was actually the last DAP I reviewed, and before that, the N8 Mark II. Both are solid recommendations for those looking for that premium sound experience. What I didn't know, however, was what the C9 did for that already un-freakin-believable sound. And that's what I'm gonna spend most of this video talking about. The C9 is Cayin's portable headphone amplifier with a ton of tricks up its sleeve. On the front of the portable amp, you'll find the line/pre-selection switch, which appropriately switches the amp from line input mode to preamp mode input. What does this mean? Well, let's say you want to use it as an amp or preamp with the Cayin mini CD player. The preamp section of the C9 will then control the volume. Let's say you have a device on your desktop that is a streaming preamp that has an amazing preamp section. In line input mode of the C9, you are now bypassing the preamp stage and only using the amp section. No other portable device on the market has ever had this function that we know about. Bravo, Cayin! The input section of the C9 has both a 3.5mm unbalanced and a 4.4mm balanced input, a high/low gain switch, the volume knob, the power on push button, the solid state/tube switch, the class A or AB amplifier switch, and the 3.5mm unbalanced and 4.4mm balanced outputs. On the back of the headphone amp, you'll find a 4 LED battery indicator and the lone USB-C charging port. It's an elegant yet simple design milled from a block of aluminum. More importantly, for an amplifier, it's incredibly effective at dissipating heat, which combined with a tube circuit can get pretty toasty. Simple, functional, and all the control you need at your fingertips, it's pretty interesting for a portable amplifier to have this much functionality and tonal variation, which is why it goes a long way to improving your portable sound. Now, you might wonder, if I want the best sound Cayin has to offer, why didn't I pair the C9 with their flagship DAP, the N8 Mark II? Yeah, great question. Of course, the N8 Mark II sounds a lot better than the N7, but you would expect that considering the cost. The N8 Mark II also has a lot of the same features that the C9 sports, including the class A/AB amp switch and the tube and solid state options. Basically, it comes down to redundancy, and it's just not worth the price to get both the N8 Mark II and the C9. I mean, if you want to spend the money, then go for it, but you'll get much better gains from the N7. Save some money and upgrade your N7 DAP. You can easily outdo the performance of the N8 Mark II this way, I dare say. The biggest difference here is that the N7 has designated line outs for connection to the C9. The N8 Mark II also has line outs, but the balanced out is paired with the analog out, something that you'll notice with the dual icons at the top of the jack. Although there's nothing inherently wrong with this approach, as I'm sure it was designed for space saving with the implementation of the tube circuits and everything else that is jam-packed inside the N8 Mark II. Both line outs on the N8 Mark II and the N7 are designed exactly the same, so you won't find any difference in that regard. Our opinion is that you'll get a much better price to performance ratio with the N7 and pairing it to a dedicated amplifier like the C9. Now, why get a dedicated amplifier? Amplifier technology does not change as often as digital technology. There's a new DAC chip or a new way to process digital signals, just like there is a new taco at Taco Bell every other week. So the investment in a great amplifier like the C9 makes sense to me. As sources change and improve, you can upgrade here, but know that you have a killer amp to go with it. It's a great investment in my mind. So that being said, we'll be taking a look at the N7. For my testing session with the C9, I paired the N7 to the C9 and connected it to the Meze Elite headphones with a Black Dragon premium cable. Also, a Silver Dragon portable mini cable from the N7 to the C9. Let's talk about some notable features and tech of the C9 before we get to some sound impressions. First up, vacuum tube and solid state switching. This is a big one as it can profoundly affect or change how your music sounds based on the audio circuit you're running it through. The C9 has a tailored designed, fully balanced 40-channel dual timbre circuit. It comes equipped with a quad set of Toshiba 2SK209 JFETs and a pair of Korg NuTube 6P1 double direct heated triodes. They're applicable to both single-ended and balanced output. I'll talk more about the sound of these in the next section. Class A and AB amp switching. Another big function here to change the overall efficiency of the amp stage. You can literally do this instantly with the flick of a switch. It makes it easy to hear the sonic differences, which we'll get to in a bit, but for this section I'll point out that it also offers extension in battery life in Class AB mode since it runs more efficiently. Dual gain control. Switch between low and high gain based on your power consumption needs. It's MCU controlled and optimized automatically. The primary gain is a custom designed 6 dB voltage gain circuit, whereas the secondary is the gain circuit in the electronic volume control of the C9. Combine with the N7 and you have all the headroom you could ever want or need. More sets of 2 dual input mode. You can choose between line input and preamp input. The line input receives fixed voltage audio signals from the line level output and functions as a headphone amplifier with local volume control. The preamp receives variable voltage audio signals from the preamp output. What makes the C9 and N7 pairing special is that you have complete control over not just the efficiency of your devices, but more importantly, how they affect the sound of your music. Amp mode switching, tube or solid state switching, dual gain control, line and preamp selection. There's not much else you would need. There's a ton of tonal variety and control besides the DAP player experience and EQ controls. That makes it perfect for every genre out there, no matter your music or listening preferences. Those are the biggies. As always, you can check out more details and specs in our written review that we'll link to in the description below. Now, let's see how the C9 paired with the N7 is true in-game portable sound. So there are going to be a few things to consider here when it comes to the sound of the C9 and how it changes the sonic aspects of the N7. The switching of solid state versus tube circuitry, or the switching from Class A to AB amplifier, is going to yield different sound characteristics from the amplifier. Even switching from balanced to single-ended connections will do the same. But therein lies the beauty of the C9. All of these quality tonal variations and options are available at the flick of a switch, depending on how you want your music to sound. Personally, I prefer the sound of the Class A setting for more genres, except for rock. Class A is a more refined and smoother sound, with Class AB a little less so, with more impact, much like a slight bass and treble boost, which is a common EQ setting for rock music. That being said, rock was more exciting and dynamic, and likely can be said for genres that need a larger sound and space. Tubes versus solid state settings will depend on the user and the genre specifically. The tube circuit does provide a warmer and smoother presentation over the solid state, combined with the already natural presentation of the C9 amplifier, and genres like jazz, R&B, folk, classic rock produce a musical and vintage aura. It makes an already intimate song even more so. The richness of the tube makes for the perfect setting for those who like to get lost in the music. The solid state, on the other hand, trades out the richness and smoothness of the tube for what I like to call Cayin's signature sound. Natural sounding, clean, and detailed, with plenty of representation in the low mids and bass. The C9 is the quietest iteration of the Korg circuit we have reviewed. Of course, there are limits. Super sensitive IEMs might pick up some hiss and noise, but this is the best IEM chord combination that we have tested thus far. It's an impressive thing when you notice an already great sounding portable setup come to life by a single device, in this case the C9. For me, that's the real value of the C9. It isn't making bad recordings magically sound good, but rather making already great sounding recordings retain the impact and presentation of the original recorded performance. It's subtle and not so subtle at the same time. This difference between a great DAP music player and realizing what makes it even better. It's not that anything is missing or lacking from the original N7, but it's certainly not in-game sound quality. The C9 gets it there. Don't get me wrong, the N7 is a great sounding DAP, definitely one of our favorites here at Moon Audio. It's about as close to a premium flagship DAP experience and sounds without having to pay the premium flagship price. You can check out our full N7 music player review that we'll link to in the description below. The bottom line is this. The C9 is a superior portable headphone amplifier with switchable amps, switchable tube and solid state circuits, great input and output selection, and more. Line outs? Hook it up to whatever you want. It's going to power what you need headphone-wise, except electrostatic. With a pre and line switch, you can set your needed output for IEMs, headphones, DACs, servers, or whatever. Maybe carrying around these two devices plus some full-size headphones might be a stretch on portability, but if you're looking for one of the best hi-fi setups that I've heard in a long time and you want to take it with you, this is the way to do it. You can still put them in your messenger bag, book bag, and tote them around. You're still bringing in-game sound quality with you. You know what I would do? Fanny pack, rock it. You know you want to. Look, if you want to cash out for the N8 Mark II and the C9, then by all means. But listen, the N7 combined with the C9 and some of your favorite headphones, it's real end-game sound for a portable setup. It's the dynamic duo. It's Batman and Robin, peanut butter and jelly, peas and carrots, arts and crafts, copy and paste, fish and chips, Netflix and chill, R&R, Romeo and Juliet, shampoo and conditioner, tacos and Tuesdays, breaking and entering, Ben and Jerry, an old lady and 27 cats, Cops and Robbers, R2-D2 and C-3PO, Pork and Beans, Rock and Roll, Sugar and Spice. If you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on all the best audio gear right here at Moon Audio. If you have any questions, drop a comment. And as always, thanks for watching.